Hello, gorgeous, and welcome back to the Mindset Magic and Manifestation Podcast with your girl. It is I, the Michaela J, here to teach you how to manifest your next level luxe life, baby. How are we feeling? Happy Wednesday. It is one of my long-term friends' birthday today. The vibes are vibing. It's so sunny. I'm literally going to the beach after this. My life is amazing. And I just had to sit down and record this podcast for you today. Okay, today I want to give you the number one thing that is changing my life right now. I feel like a completely different person because of this one thing. It's so simple. You've heard it before, but we're going to talk about it in a whole new way today. And that is the power of your environment. You are severely underestimating how much this impacts your life, your mindset, your health, your goals, literally everything. Okay. And I'm not just talking about me moving to Florida. I'm talking about just like your environment in general. Now, I know some of you can't just like pack up your lives and move across the country and be by the ocean and like live your best life, frolicking in the ocean and being in the sun and tanning. And okay, maybe I'm selling you on Florida a little bit, but anyways, the power of your environment. And that includes the people that you are around. Okay. So why is this the number one thing changing my life right now? A little backstory. I have always been somebody who has identified as an extroverted introvert. I can talk your head off. Truly. That's why I love podcasting. If you hop on one of my trainings inside of one of my paid programs, I am riffing and chatting and yapping my head off for 45 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes sometimes. If you've been on some of my master classes, sometimes they're 2 hours. I'm honestly working on reducing that so it's a little bit more digestible. I just get so excited and passionate about what I'm talking about when I'm having a good time. And it's the same thing when I'm talking to people in my life, right? I had an incredible weekend. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. An incredible weekend with my clients coming to town. They came to St. Pete this weekend. 3 of my favorite clients, my favorite humans. One of them, Paige, who I love dearly, who you're going to meet at Rich Girl Renaissance. We had a VIP dinner Friday night. That was just us two, and it was incredible. And she is hilarious. I cannot wait for you guys to meet her at Rich Girl Renaissance Live. And then on Saturday, we had a full VIP day with the 3 girls, and we had brunch. We had bottomless mimosas. We celebrated 2 of their birthdays. We did a full 3-hour photo shoot. The photos are sick. Oh my gosh, they're so good for my clients. We had workshop time. We had espresso martinis. We went boating on a performance yacht, and it was incredible. We saw dolphins in the wild. We danced our booties off all night. Like, we literally had the best time ever. Okay. So when I had my clients in town, I can talk their heads off all day. I can talk for 12 hours straight. When you meet me at Rich Girl Renaissance Live, I will talk to you until I'm blue in the face, obviously. Same thing with like the people I'm around in my day-to-day life, like my friends and my family, whatever. But I'm also an introvert. Okay. So I definitely recharge alone. I will drain my social battery. Sometimes I would tell you, full honesty, that I'm a little socially awkward. Every person in my life would wildly disagree with that statement, but I like feel it sometimes. You know, when you get like a little like social anxiety or something, I will feel that. And so this episode of me talking about the number one thing changing my life being the power of your environment and people is actually very shocking to me, because as somebody who is an extrovert, introvert, and spent a lot of my life being an introvert, I always kind of avoided people, like purposely and not on purpose. I could be by myself, like truly spend every day alone for like 5 years past Michaela and be totally fine. Like, I really enjoy my own presence. I've never been bored a day in my life. I am constantly talking to myself in my head. Like, I have like a constant dialogue. I have so many ideas. Like, truly, I don't get bored. Only boring people get bored. It's one of my philosophies. So it's interesting that I'm recording this episode because I'm somebody who has always resonated with just like kind of being on my own. I was always the weird one. I'm always the different one. I'm always slightly misunderstood. And so a lot of times that can lead you to just be isolated. And I think I grew up an introvert because I lived alone at a young age. And it's really funny. I have an older brother, and he is super extroverted, and he lived with friends when he was younger. So like, he was always in a social environment, and I was the opposite, where I was always kind of to myself, by myself. So the fact that I'm recording this episode is really crazy because it's completely changed my life. My environment, including the people I'm around, have absolutely changed my life. And it's made me more of the extroverted side of myself, where I now like crave being around people. I crave like community and being in person and seeing my friends. And like, even when I was in Texas, like I love my friends in Texas and I miss them so much, but I didn't like crave to like be in person with people. Like I would love to like text me like, how are you? Let's send some voice notes, even though they're like 15 minutes from me. I just like loved being in my own little shell, in my own little bubble. And I just didn't realize how much that was holding me back. And it was all because I was doing it myself. That's why I say at the beginning of this episode, you are severely underestimating the importance of your environment right now, because how I feel now that I've taken this very seriously and taken it to another level is so different. Like my friends here in Florida, I see literally every single week, multiple times a week. Like we're talking all the time, we're commenting on each other's Instagram posts. Like I crave being in social settings and getting to chat to people. And I see how it kind of like alchemizes something in my body. Like it brings out your charisma, it brings out your zest for life, and it just changes everything. Why is this changing my life right now outside of that? I have some really specific examples of how it's changing different things in my identity, in my habits, and in the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. And I can only imagine in the next 6, 9, 12 months, 2 years, how this ends up manifesting into things. So I'm giving you this tidbit as like a juicy, quickie, secret hack episode. And I'm also doing it to like document. We're going to be able to go back and be like, remember July of 2026 where Michaela talked about this, and like, look at where she's at now. Like that's the kind of vibe here. Number one, one of the things that has been shifting for me because of my environment is I went on a run today. Now this is so funny to me because I literally just did my first run this morning and I'm already running to the podcast to tell you about it. But I am becoming a light runner. Being here in St. Pete, in Florida, everybody is very active. Everybody's very fit. And there's a lot of runners. There was a lot of run clubs in Austin as well, run clubs here, but people are out and about and they are running. And, I'm a hot girl walk girly. So I would be out, every day doing my 45 minutes like we talked about last week. But every time I see somebody running, they're just like hot and in shape. And I'm like, how do you look so good while you're running? And I'm huffing and puffing. But I just think like, that's such a good vibe. Like, I love that. You're really pushing yourself. People talk about a runner's high, and I've never been a runner in my entire life. Okay. But today, actually last night, I decided I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to go for a run. And I curated a very specific playlist of songs that I know that I would want to keep running to because of the beat, because of the song. And I woke up this morning and I went for a run. I did about 1.5 miles, which like, yay, go me. And it felt incredible. And it brought out, again, this is what's changing my life. It brought out this whole activated side in me where there would be points where obviously I like wanted to stop, but it's so uncomfortable and like I'm like in pain. It's like 1,000,000 degrees here and I'm running and I'm like, I would set markers of like, okay, keep running up until this point, or like run all the way, till the stoplight. I would know that break was kind of coming so I don't get hit by a car, obviously. And I would just be like nearing the end and I'd be like, keep going. You're 20% stronger than you think you are. Finish strong, finish all the way to the stoplight, right? There's so many times in our lives that we want to quit 2 steps from the finish line. You're 5 yards away from the end zone and you just want to start walking. Like, people quit so close to the finish line when if you trained yourself on how to run through the finish line like a savage, your life would change almost instantly, even though it's not about a fast change. And so while I'm running, I'm like physically uncomfortable. I'm like focusing on my breathing so I don't pass out. I'm like, okay, we can do this. Like, there'd be times I'd want to stop and I didn't let myself. And I was literally talking to myself out loud. Keep going, finish, make sure you make it all the way down to the block. Keep up a good pace, move your arm. Like, I'm like coaching myself through this run. And after I finished my run, I felt incredible. I felt incredible. And also like running is such a time saver. Oh my God. I did literally the normal route that I usually take my 45-minute walk on, but I like ran it way faster. I was like, this is a good time management hack. But anyways, afterwards I felt amazing. And I was like, I did something new. I did something hard. I did something, I'm comfortable. I'm like sweating. That was weird, but I had a good time. And when you go out and you do things that are new, that are uncomfortable, you build your confidence, you build your certainty, and you build a new identity. Because will running become my entire personality? No. Like I'll probably be doing it like twice a week, like 2 good like push cardio days. But it changes my identity because like I'm somebody who does something that's hard. I'm somebody who is pushing themselves when it would be easier to just walk and to quit. When I have time, or I could just stop and walk and be like, actually, this is like super uncomfortable. I don't really like it. Like, no, I didn't let those excuses win. And the whole reason why I'm having this moment is because of my environment, because I was so moved and influenced by the people I'm around, the environment that I'm in, where people are pushing themselves. Like I see people that are running together, like talking. I can't even imagine. Like I could barely talk to myself while I was running. I can't imagine like holding a whole conversation and a pace with somebody in like the blistering heat. Like they'll be like drenched in sweat. I'm like, they've been running for a hot minute. Like that's so crazy. Like I was so moved by my environment that it inspired me to take different actions, which gave me a different result in how I felt for the day. And I've had so much energy all day long because of it. That is a life-changing hack. Not you going for a run, but you putting yourself in an environment that is so uplifting, that is so encouraging of an up level of excellence, of pushing yourself, that you actually make a change you never thought about making. That is wild. Okay. So running is one of the things that has impacted me through my environment. Another example that I can think of off the top of my head is the friends that I'm around here. Everybody is very health conscious, and I love that. And one of my friends here, she loves food. She's a foodie, but like a health nut foodie, where she really cares about ingredients. She really cares about what's going into her body, like what is in every meal. Like we only go to restaurants where typically she knows the owner, and she knows every single ingredient and everything's organic, and there's not like the filler oils and all the other shit. Like being around friends that deeply care about food ingredients and what's going into their body is another thing changing my life, because then it impacts me because of like me being around that. Now I'm vegan and I'm very healthy and I care about that, but now I see myself in the grocery store, like literally checking the labels. I'm like, oh yeah, what is going in this? Are there filler ingredients? Are these unnecessary oils? Are these things that like I actually want to be putting into my body? Or is this just like random junk that I've been buying and just kind of been unconscious about? And so being around friends that have that standard for their food and their health has changed my life already. I feel like I am eating cleaner. I feel better. I feel more energized with the food that I'm putting in my body because I'm watching what's going into the food. Again, it's like my environment's impacting all these little parts of my day-to-day, which is absolutely shifting my identity. Another one is that my environment has me saying yes a lot more. Now, this is a little bit more specific to moving, but this is something you can do in your day-to-day life right now in the town you live in. Whether it was you moved, whether it's your hometown, doesn't matter, but it's saying yes. Now, I moved to St. Pete literally not knowing anybody. And I told myself, okay, like I'm going to actively do things to make aligned friends. I'm going to meet people. And when I first moved to LA years ago, I got Bumble BFF, and that's how I met one of my first friends, who was one of my best friends there. And that worked out really well for me. But I told myself moving here, I was like, I don't want to go through like an app. Like I want to meet people like out and about, meet people who are in places doing things that I want to do, where it's less like manufactured and more like we are truly aligned, right? And so it has me saying yes to a lot of things. And I wouldn't have the friends that I have right now. I wouldn't have done all the activities I've had so far if I hadn't been saying yes to things. And I'm in this environment that I put myself in, which would be my apartment building, where they have wellness events, they have resident meetup events. I made friends that live in the building because I went to one of the resident events all by myself. My husband was working. I've gone to the wellness events and gotten to meet people that way. I'm always down at the pool. I'm always in the clubhouse. Like, I'm around and about, and I answer people's texts and I say yes to plans. And I've gotten invited to beach days and game nights. And that's why I'm going to the beach after this. I got invited to go lay out at the beach with one of my friends because she's taking her dog to the beach, and invited to walks and different events and just like so many different things. And I say yes to pretty much everything that, one, I obviously want to go to, and then two, that aligns with my schedule. Like, it has been so good for me because now I'm out and about more. Oh my gosh, out and about more. I'm out of the house. I'm living my life. And a big point that I want to bring this back to is that is how you end up in alignment with some of your biggest manifestations. If you cover more surface ground on a regular basis, you are in more places where you could be receiving your manifestations. A lot of the time, what we are manifesting ends up coming through other humans. It's a person that you meet at a coffee shop who becomes your best friend, who connects you to somebody else who gives you your dream job. It is a friend you go on a walk with, you put yourself out there, she knows somebody that helps you out with this. It's you being out reading a book at a cafe alone, and a guy comes up to you and it's the love of your life. It's like your manifestations come through people almost all of the time. Same thing as if you're out and about at a networking event and then you sign your next client, right? You're out and about at a networking event, you meet somebody who's also a content creator, you guys start creating content, and then you guys both blow up. Like, everybody wins. You need to cover more surface ground. And this is something that I wish I had known sooner. Like, I didn't really do this as much in Texas. I wasn't out and about as much, which, granted, I was traveling a lot, but still, I definitely could have been out and about more. I just wanted to be in my own bubble. And I wish I realized, like, if I cover more surface ground, I am way more open to receiving different manifestations. I'm way more open to being in alignment with different opportunities than staying in the house all the time, staying in your bubble. And like, listen, I love being in the house. Like, I love being on my own. Like, again, I've never been bored a day in my life, but you will be so much more open to receiving when you are out and about. And one thing that contributes to this is that when you're out in the world and you're around people, or around like your friends, let's say, when you're with your friends, you're having a silly, goofy time. You're being positive. Maybe you're like beating a dead horse and like talking shit about something for a bit, but then you're like having a good time. You're talking about your goals. You're talking about your mindset. You are laughing. You feel good. You're out with the girls. Like, you're smiling more. You probably put on a cute outfit, whatever. You are dialing up your charisma so much, and that is your magnetism. All of the days that you just stay home, you're in your PJs, you're in your bubble, you're doing your own thing, you're cutting off your charisma from the world, which, there's a time and a place. But if you're doing this every single day, week after week after week, you're not making plans on the weekends, you're not seeing people, you're like cutting down all of that charisma and you're cutting down all of that magnetism. And you can absolutely have your magnetism turned on at home. Like, I am living, breathing proof of that. In Texas, I did not go out very much, but I was still very magnetic and attracted a lot of my manifestations. But it's a lot easier here because I'm in my charisma more, which makes me more magnetic, which makes me more open to receiving, and I'm covering the surface ground. Are you following where this is going?
If you're a QuickBooks customer looking to grow without the growing pains, you need the Intuit ERP, the AI native ERP that upgrades right from QuickBooks. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
All of this is because of my environment. And none of this is actually related to a specific place, because every single thing that I've just listed here, I could have done in Texas. So it's not about moving. It's not about being in a specific city. It's not. Even if I was still living in Nebraska, I could do this. I could put myself in an environment where there's other fit people that are pushing themselves. I could have joined a CrossFit gym. I could have signed up for High Rocks. I could live in a part of town where people are super active and always walking. I could be at the lakes all the time and see people walking the lake and make friends that way. I could go to different events. There's events in every city. And if you tell me not in my city, I'm going to tell you you're not looking hard enough. You're making excuses and I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay. Like you can find events anywhere. All right. You can be influenced anywhere in a positive way. You can find friends who care about the same thing and health and making money and being the best version of themselves anywhere. You just have to go look for them. And then you have to say yes. You have to say yes. And I think that that's where we miss a lot of connections and manifestations is that you get invited from somewhere, but you say no, or you cancel last minute, or I would be the type of person in the past who, like, if a friend canceled plans, I'd be like, thank God I didn't want to go. And now if that happens, I'm like, oh, I'm like genuinely sad. Like I wanted to see that person. I was looking forward to having that connection. I was looking forward to having that time. Like, okay, yeah, like I'll obviously just do something else and I'll pivot, but I'm genuinely bummed about it. I want to connect with people. And especially in the world today, like we are all craving connection. So get connected with your environment, with your community, with people around you. Get connected with like-minded people. Do whatever it takes to find those people. Truly. Like that could be, even if you say like, oh, there's not like-minded people in my town. I get it because when I was in Nebraska, I felt like nobody understood me. But even then, I still had a couple people in my life that I could connect with. I had my masseuse, who was the first person I talked to about spirituality and mindset ever in my life, like a stranger. And I could talk to her about anything. And we would pull oracle cards every time I came in. She had crystals, like the whole 9 yards. I had one of my friends from a yoga class. I had one of my friends from college who would come to yoga class with me if I asked her to. We would take content. She would take photos for me. We would sit down, we would journal together. Like it was so fun. Like I would have my few people that I could go to that I looked forward to spending time with. So it doesn't matter how small your town is. It doesn't matter where you live. You're going to find that, but you have to put yourself in those environments. And that's the difference between my life now and my life 3 months ago when I was living in Austin. I wasn't putting myself in those environments. Like I had people around me, but I wasn't in the community. I wasn't in the environment. I was in my bubble at home doing the same shit over and over and over again. And the same shit it was good things, positive things, great habits, but it wasn't stretching me. It wasn't changing me. It wasn't influencing me the same way that this is. So I want you to do a really good evaluation of your environment. And literally saying to yourself, I'm probably severely underestimating the power of my environment right now. And that means that there's so much opportunity, and that means there is so much self-reflection to do. Where am I not taking advantage of my current environment? Where am I shutting myself off? Where am I staying in my own bubble? Where am I protecting myself by not putting myself out there? Where could I go to find community? Where can I go to meet people? Where can I go to be positively influenced? Okay. I don't care if that means you're going to a cold plunge sauna every day, you're going to hot sculpt every day, you're going on a walk at the lake every day. Like find your places and get out of the fucking house. You will be so much more open and you will thank me later. This is totally changing my life right now. And even when I lived in Nebraska at the beginning of my personal development journey, I also would invest in myself to get in these types of environments. Like I've told you guys so many stories about retreats I've gone on, events that I've gone to, conferences. Like I would pay thousands of dollars to be in these environments to meet people that I'm still connected with today. One of my friends that I met through a conference, we were just texting and she's already planning a trip to come see me. It's like, okay, great. So sometimes you need to invest in yourself to meet those people so that you can bring them into your environment and meet those people that will influence you, even if they're not immediately around you. They're in your mental environment because you guys are speaking regularly, texting, voice noting, whatever that is. Okay. And so if you need a space where like, okay, yeah, I do need to invest in myself. I need to get into an environment and a community that's going to positively influence me, then I highly encourage you get your ticket to Rich Girl Renaissance Live, of course. Okay, my 4-day in-person event on how to become the content millionaire, where we are bringing together mindset, manifestation, social media strategy, content creation, business strategy, bougie bitches all in one weekend. And it's going to be the most incredible time. And these women that you're going to meet are amazing. I have met so many of them before. So many of them have made friends through my communities, through my retreats, and they are going to welcome you with open arms when they get to meet you too. Because when you are around positive people who are also crazy, who are also psycho, who are also going for it, your life will absolutely change. Okay. And I cannot wait to see you in Dallas. And I can't wait to see what this does for you. Evaluating your environment, seeing where you need to make some changes, where maybe you need to take a little bit more accountability to get out of your bubble, okay? This is what I needed to hear 6 months ago. I'm not kidding you, all right? This has been changing me so much. And I hope that this episode really served you, really shifted you, and motivated you to get out of the house and go do something new, meet somebody new, come to Rich Girl Renaissance Live, whatever that is for you. Don't underestimate your environment. And I'll talk to you next week.